And just like that, the season 2 premiere dropped. Okay, so I almost forgot about this. I was really busy, so it was a bit of a surprise. And I didn't realise we're getting 2 episodes. So it was quite an evening. Now, I'm going to do both in one because why not? The first episode, it started off, I think one of the major criticisms of last year, I mean one of the valid ones, was there wasn't a lot of sex. That was very much married people. And this episode, I mean, the most sex I think we saw was the kids and maybe Nia. I'm not sure, but there wasn't a lot of sex. And, this is supposed to be Sex and the City's sequel. So this episode starts off with all the ladies getting ready for their men, coming out of the bathroom ready for their men, except for poor Nia, who's, streaming TV because her beloved Andre Richard is off somewhere doing things with blonde roadies in hats. So she's not going to have a good episode. Not a good 2 episodes, actually. But this episode seems to center around the Met Ball. Somehow Carrie got an invite, and I think Charlotte got an invite. So Charlotte was going to take Anthony, but then her husband thought he was going, and for some reason she put her husband above her gay husband. I don't know how that worked. But he got edged out, which he wasn't happy about. And then Carrie was taking Nima, I think her name's Nima, and then she cancelled the Met Ball to meet her boyfriend's wife and their kid. And I'm like, do it another day for God's sakes. But so then Anthony was back in. Now this dinner did not go well because she found out that he was still living with his ex-wife. He has one floor, she has another floor, separate entrances. She was out. And then when she went to her hairstylist, he told her that she was basically being too picky or something, and she had a fit and stormed out, and then got her hair done somewhere else and had to go back with her tail between her legs. And she did apologise. He didn't care. But, he thought he was right, but he probably wasn't, because when they ended up having dinner, he hit her up for going halves in a $200,000 investment in a new club. So she's smelling gold digger. So she walked out again, ironically dressed in gold, before the chocolate mousse, I think, or whatever it was they were waiting for. So it's happening. Stanford sent Carrie a kimono from Japan, so he got one mention in the episode. Miranda was naked. She was she's trying to fill the days basically. So she was doing like one of those sensory deprivation pods in saline solution, and she got it in her eye and came out and crawled out, and she was totally naked. I'm like, oh my god, okay, she's naked. And I was kind of shocked to see Charlotte's boobs as well. It's like, this is funny. I don't know, they're like my sisters. I don't want to see that. It's like, I don't watch the show for sexy time. I don't know if the other gay men ever look at that stuff and go, we just want to see the men. But yeah, I think that's about it. There wasn't a whole lot to this story. It was really just Carrie is trying to work out if she wants more from the producer that she's sleeping with. They're having Thursdays, so after the podcast, he goes to her place, they hook up. Now, I don't know what the position of the lady in the wheelchair is, but Carrie gets this ad she's got to do for vaginal suppositories, and she can't do it. She does rewrite it though. The two of them work on it, they rewrite it, but apparently that upset the advertisers, and they basically cancelled everything. All the shows is all done. So at the end of the episode, actually, sorry, this is the second episode. Have I mixed them up, or did that start in the first episode and run into the second episode? But yeah, so Carrie was really just trying to work out if she wanted to be with him, and she initially said yes to doing something with him on a Tuesday, because she mentioned, someone asked the same question, is this guy ready for a relationship? And Carrie said, if this person does something out of that routine, it will show that he wants more than that or wants something different. And then he invites her out on Tuesday to have drinks with friends or something. And she says yes, but then she sort of regrets it and she takes it back, and he actually is okay with it because she sort of got different verdicts from people about how he would take that. Basically, Anthony was like, he's a man, just tell him. And I think Bobby or whatever her friend is from work said, you know, things have changed since you've been out there. You know, men have feelings now. So she told him it was fine. But I think that's it for the episode. Basically, they all got to the Met Gala in time. Carrie had a problem with Bobby's girlfriend who was doing the dress. She was not ready. Her seamstress got sick. She was not prepared. She's a new designer. It was a mess. And she ended up repurposing her wedding dress, which she never got to really wear because, you know, how that went. And she went to the ball in a repurposed wedding dress. Lisa went in an outrageous, slightly Gaga-esque red gown with a face thing. I don't know what that was. And well, at the last minute, Harry, when he realised he wasn't going to walk up the steps and see Rihanna because, you know, the normal people don't get to go up the stairs, apparently only the celebrities, he backed out and Harry was back in. No, not Harry. Harry backed out. Anthony was back in. So Anthony got to go to the Met Gala, and that was basically the end of the episode. Now, the second episode, this is where the vagina suppository came in, sorry. I think that's how they started the episode off. And yeah, by the end of the episode, because she keeps pushing off doing it, but they did rewrite it, and she did rewrite it, and I'm like, well, if she's doing it, what's the problem? But apparently the show got cancelled. So now Carrie isn't doing Sex and the City as a podcast. I'm like, I really like the idea of her having this job in a modern sort of, but then I guess apparently podcasts are going out or something. I don't know. I don't even have one. Now, Nima ended up, like I said, going back with this guy for a minute. That didn't work out. Lily sold her clothes because she wanted to get a keyboard because she's wanting to express herself as an artist, and she's mostly expressing that Charlotte is sort of putting all these conditions on her to be a good daughter and so forth, and she's sort of growing up and changing. She chased down the dress and realised she had the memories and didn't need it. Shay and Miranda, who I didn't even talk about really before, she is finding it difficult to sort of fill time and sort of, I think she's feeling secondary to the job, and she felt Shay was pushing her off. So she asked them what the issue was. Eventually it came out that they were pressuring her to lose weight, because whenever Miranda would touch her, she'd sort of not sort of welcome it, and she thought, oh, I was this relationship was just in the bedroom. We took it outside of the bedroom. It's not working. But what it was she was feeling self-conscious. So again, I assumed the worst of Che. I assumed that they had some sort of man sort of issue, like, you know, you're just supposed to be the wife in this sort of position sort of thing and not sort of be everywhere or whatever. But it wasn't that at all. So that was good. There was a scene with Lisa's mother-in-law, who is in town just being a unpleasant person, and the husband couldn't get a taxi, and he banged on the bonnet, and she gave him a speech about how we have to be better. You know, if we lose our temper, you know, we can't afford to, and you know, if we do, they win the races. So that was an interesting thing, because this show is not afraid of social commentary, and a lot of people are criticizing it for being woke, but I don't have any problem with it. Now, what am I left with? Podcast cancelled. The girls sort out this stuff. Oh, there was the issue with Jay. She's got Tony Danza playing a Mexican father, and it's not working. So I was like, how about we just make me Italian and we make your mother Mexican? So they're changing her show, which was based on her life, and now it's not resembling her life as much. She's stressing out about that. Miranda's stressing out about the fact that she lost her phone and didn't know her number, and didn't know that she actually had an ex-husband who Shay sent to pick her up when she lost her phone and was stuck at the beach, and then she missed the dinner with Tony Danza. And I think that's it. Oh, of course, Nia broke up with what was his name? Andre Rashad, because he was, when she called him for sexy time, he was basically writing songs with some blonde in a hat. So she basically called that out for what it was and started throwing his stuff out. And she called Carrie about that while she was doing it. So, yeah, I don't know where they're going with her storyline. He wanted a surrogate. And she's like, well, you haven't heard a thing I've said. And that was sort of, she pretty much broke up with him. And that was that. So, not sure if that's really over. But yeah, I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. It did feel more like Sex and the City because the first season was really all about Carrie having this crisis of her husband dying, then recovering from it, and then just sort of getting back on her feet as a single person. So she didn't really get to spend much time just living that life. So these 2 episodes, she was basically just living that life. Now, the producer guy wanted a bit more than Thursdays, and she's like, can't we just take the podcast somewhere else? And he's sort of like, if you're not wanting more, I don't think I should do this. So she's like, thanks for the Sex in the City. And just like that, she freed up a whole week. So I'm a little disappointed that she doesn't have, I like the idea of her just being this podcast success, just like she was this columnist success. I'm like, what's she going to do career-wise next? Because in the modern age, we're not really selling books or magazines, so I thought a podcast was a good fit. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. But yeah, I was looking forward to it. I enjoyed it. A lot of people are criticising it already, and ironically, what they're criticising it for, which is being like a half-baked version of the original Sex and the City, when this season is so much more like the original Sex and the City. Whereas last season it was very much just a really long film about losing her husband and trying to get back to normal. Whereas this, she's just living her life as a single woman in her 50s. And Nima seems to be more of the Samantha character, but she actually wants a relationship, whereas Samantha really just wanted to live her life, her sex life out, and wasn't really looking for anything more. So they haven't tried to replace her exactly, but between the other women, they've sort of filled that Samantha role. And everything else is really working. I'm really enjoying the show. I don't feel anything's forced. The new characters seem to be blending really well with the old characters, whereas the first season it was very much their story, their story, their story, their story, whereas now it seems to flow a lot better. But I've already been talking for 12 minutes, but it's not too bad for reviewing 2 episodes, 2 45-minute episodes. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I can't wait for episode 3. And yeah, I actually subscribed for this. I was debating it because I can get it elsewhere, but so I'm already subscribing for Paramount Plus for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I'm like, I don't want to be paying for 2 things at the same time. Normally I do one for a month, watch everything, then do another for a month, and sometimes I go months even without a streaming service at all. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to watch it elsewhere, and I want to support my girls. I'm going to buy the DVD as well. So, yep, it's going to be a good. I think we've got 6 more weeks of. If they do 8 episodes, I don't know if they're doing 8 or 10. We've got another 6 or 8 episodes to go, and I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.